The opportunity to climb Mount Everest does not come very often. It is usually the culmination of many years of hard work and planning. We had 6 weeks. For over a year I had been planning an expedition to Makalu, one of the world's most difficult mountains, and the thought of climbing Everest had never seriously entered my mind. That is, not until late in April this year, when I received a call from a friend inviting me to join an international expedition of Russian and Australian climbers. I soon became fixated by the thought of climbing Everest and decided that it was an excellent, if not ironic, way to prepare for the demanding climb on Makalu. Our team of 4 climbers comprised Michael Groom, a professional mountaineer who had climbed to the top of 2 of the world's 14 8,000-metre peaks and who had been on Everest earlier this year. Andrew Locke, a policeman who had climbed with me in Russia a couple of years before, and Mark Squires, a long-time rock climbing friend. A banker in normal life, I had spent many years enjoying the challenge of the mountains. After 6 weeks of planning, fundraising and publicity, Mark and I departed Sydney on the 23rd of August, with Andrew staying an extra 2 days to get married. It was a relief to finally arrive in Kathmandu, a city that has retained its mysticism despite the modernisation that has come with its emergence as a destination for the more adventurous. From Kathmandu we flew to an airstrip high in the foothills of the Himalayan range. We commenced our walk-in at the end of the monsoon season. This meant cloudy days and wet afternoons, giving us only limited views of the high snow-capped peaks we knew rimmed our path. Everest Base Camp is located at the foot of the Khumbu Icefall, with individual camps perched on the rock and ice debris of the glacier. We arrived on the 8th of September. It is a harsh place of surreal beauty, with the distant snow-capped peaks sitting like cardboard cutouts on the horizon. In total, 11 expeditions had booked various routes on the Nepalese side of the mountain, including teams from France, Spain, Russia, Japan and Poland. There was also the first ever Nepalese women's expedition. Unlike other expeditions, our goal was to climb Everest without the assistance of Sherpa porters on the mountain and without using bottled oxygen, except for medical purposes. This made the task considerably more difficult, decreasing our chances of success and making us more susceptible to frostbite. It was, however, for us, the only way to make an attempt to climb Mount Everest. The Icefall is a much feared place for the many climbers who have proceeded through its armoury of teetering ice cliffs and bottomless crevasses. It is a jumble of ever-moving ice blocks tumbling 2,000 feet from the vast valley of the Western Coombe down to base camp. This provides a very sobering and exhausting introduction to a climb on Everest from the Nepalese side of the mountain. As is traditionally the case, the path through the Icefall was marked with flags and lined with fixed rope on the more dangerous sections, a task undertaken at the beginning of each season by a team of Nepalese Sherpas. The climb was debilitating as we acclimatised, and dangerous. After 3 days of carrying loads up the icefall to Camp 1, we moved up onto the mountain on the 17th of September. The Western Combe is a huge valley, rimmed by Nupsy and the west ridge of Everest. At lunchtime after our final load carried to Camp 2, Andrew, Mark and I sat looking up at the Lhotse face, where 5 ant-like figures were fixing ropes through the yellow rock band. Then, quite unexpectedly, a small avalanche started just above the climbers. We thought everyone had survived and continued to watch the avalanche with detached interest. With the snow dust settling at the bottom, we noticed 2 black dots. One of the black dots started moving, stood up and started walking back towards Camp 2. We grabbed the telephoto lens and soon became aware that it was Michael. It was hard to believe that he had fallen the whole 2,700 vertical feet of the face riding this avalanche. We caught up with Michael just outside of Camp 2 and noticed blood on his hands and his face. He was also in shock and mildly hypothermic. After we'd got him back to Camp 2, the Sherpas said that Michael had just left one life and was starting another. Despite being brought back to reality by Michael's avalanche, Mark, Andrew and I returned to the mountain.
It's absolutely horrible up there. You've got no idea. People are not supposed to be able to live at 8,000 metres without oxygen, which is where we were. We certainly intended to climb without oxygen, but hadn't really intended to stay there that long. Andrew and I decided to wait till that evening and see if we could give it one shot. At midnight, brewed up a couple of pots of water to try and soothe rasping throats, and headed off into the very cold, windy, dark night. I didn't really get that far, and I was having trouble with my fingers, with frostbite, and I said to Andrew I had to go back. So he turned around as well and we went back. I'm absolutely totally destroyed. I don't know if exhaustion means anything to anybody, multiply that by a few hundred.